see, as far as the Indian scenario is concerned, our armed forces jointness is at present not up to what the modern forces are. The jointness level and the integration is lacking. One of the principal factors for the lack of jointness and integration is a unitary military authority which is at the apex level. The Chief of Defence Staff is the unitary authority at apex level who does not owe any allegiance to any of the services. He is an independent senior military commander who's at the top. He's commanding, or rather having oversight over all the defence forces, the defence modernisation and various other aspects. So one requires such a person. A lack of it has led to our relying on the the organisation, that is the Chiefs of Staff Committee. Now we have a Chairman's Chiefs of Staff Committee. I must say they have done a very good job so far, but then they are constrained. They are constrained because they owe allegiance to one of the services from which they belong. As you well know, the senior most chief becomes the Chairman Chiefs of Staff Committee. Now there have been times when the Chairman Chiefs of Staff Committee has been for a few months only, and also his allegiance to his own service, that I think has created some problems. So I think Chief of Defence Staff will definitely overcome these issues.
You know, the post or the office of the Chief of Defence Staff is something that's been discussed in India for more than 20 years. Formally, it comes into the official discourse post the Kargil War of 1999, because there is a reference, there is no recommendation, but there is a reference to the CDS in the Kargil Committee deliberations. And this goes back to Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's tenure. But from 2000 to now, various governments have been discussing it but have not taken the decision. And on August 15 this year, Prime Minister Modi made the announcement. And the logic of making the announcement is that India's composite military capability, which is currently in 3 silos, Army, Navy, Air Force, would be more effective if there is a Chief of Defence Staff who would be able to maximize the output of existing resources and also be the equivalent of a single point reference to the political leadership, and above all instill a certain element of jointness as far as the 3 armed forces are concerned. And somewhere, even if the Prime Minister has not said this as explicitly, I would say an acknowledgement of a cardinal tenet of the military, shall we say, Bible if you will, which is the unity of command. Because that is critical to any military in the world. I mean, there's a certain sanctity about this principle of the unity of command. And if you look at India's own experiences from 1962 to where we are now in 2019, very soon we are going to be recalling 50 years of the 1962 war with China. I think one characteristic for India's inability to deal as effectively with the challenges that have been imposed on India is the lack of unity of command. And this comes to the fore even in 1999 when we had the Kargil War, when air power couldn't be brought to the table as effectively as it ought to have been. So I think this is the basic kind of game plan of the blueprint as to why India is in need of a Chief of Defence Staff.